Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to be continuing the Native America series. So this is a 4-part series from PBS that was done on Native Americans. This is part 3. This is Cities of the Sky. So like in all of these series, all of these 4 different ones, they base themselves at a specific site. So previously it had been Chaco, which was a site that had to do with in New Mexico. It was a massive city. The previous video, Nature to Nations, was with the Iroquois Nation in upstate New York. This one is dealing with mound builders around the Mississippi area. So you have these giant mounds in the middle of flat Mississippi. So it's like, what on earth are these things? So it turns out this again was a massive city, similar to what you would find in Mexico and other parts of Central America and even into South America and Brazil, where essentially the land just covered it up. It was very, very old. This stuff was older than some of the temples you'll find in Mexico and even among the Maya and the Aztecs. So this is an older group of people, though it does kind of focus on another group of people, specifically one of those who were part of the Trail of Tears and were expelled forcibly and cruelly by the U.S. government out of their homelands and into Oklahoma. And again, these people are from the American South, so very, very fertile land, green in Oklahoma. So a lot of them died. I do not know that many tales of the Trail of Tears, which is, again, that was also the Sorry, it's late. It's 8 o'clock at night, which is late for a person with a small child. But again, it's from the areas around the Blue Mountains and Tennessee and Mississippi. But this one specifically focuses on a group that was kind of around the Mississippi area, the Mississippi Delta. And you had these mound builders. So they built this city. And they're talking about their connection to the sky. So they also spent a great deal of time at a site, I believe, in southern Mexico, and forest areas, massive tropical jungles here. So where you had this huge city complex and how they're aligned and trying to figure out how these cities are in fact aligned to the stars. Again, this is Cities of the Sky. Their entire lives, particularly if they were agricultural societies, and a lot of the Americas was very much focused on agriculture, and specifically corn, particularly in North America, which we're talking the Canada, United States, Mexico, and even parts of Central and South America. So in the northern parts anyway. Corn was a big deal. And this was where their societies revolved around, specifically the use of corn as their main crop. But again, they were agricultural societies. So the seasons were very, very important, and the movement of the sun and the moon, and in many ways the stars, were very much a part of these people's world. And it's their gods in many ways. They talk a lot about human sacrifice. And specifically in this site, they found a mass grave of, for lack of a better word, breeding females, actually young women who could reproduce, in a mass grave, laid out a very specific way, making a very specific, they're all facing the same direction. So this was done religiously and methodically. So this was very much, they were sacrificing to their gods for a reason. Now, a lot of people have a tendency to look down on this. Now, all societies, all religions throughout human history have done some sort of sacrifice. A lot of it's been human. So, again, in many places, particularly when you hear about sacrificing of small children, a lot of that, and I think this is what I've learned from other videos, is they're desperate at this point. To be killing kids and killing babies, if they're doing that, they're dying. their people are, there is something seriously wrong, and they are seriously desperate. So normally it has to do with starvation and drought. So in order to do that kind of thing, you have to be very, very, very desperate. So whether this mass killing of breeding women, for lack of a better word, again, they were women that could reproduce, whether what that was, it's not really talked about. It's more focused on how this is aligned. And you have the archaeologists who are talking about that you have these people from Mississippi who have recently gotten one of their mounds back from the state of Mississippi. So most of them live in Oklahoma. They're from Oklahoma. They're slowly coming back to their native lands, and they have gotten this specific area back from the state of Mississippi. So they can, as it shows some of their rituals, this is their church in many ways. This is where they worship. This is where their ancestors were. They are connected to this specific mound, though the one they're looking at, they're focusing on in this video is somewhere else. So this one's in the middle of a cornfield. So the one that you see with the native people talking about is, again, more in the Mississippi Delta area where there's more foresty, more what I would think of Louisiana, and again, Delta. So the other stuff is in a cornfield. Seriously, when they show the videos, they're in a giant cornfield, and they're using LiDAR, which is a way for them on literally attached to drones to send signals into the ground to see what was there, what had been there in the past before they put cornfields and highways and things, and they're able to map out this giant city, and they see a road, but it's like 5 degrees off true north. So like, what is this lined up with? And they slowly go through this, and they finally figure it out that it's lined up with the movement of the sun and a moon incident, a location of where the moon was, once every 25 years, and it makes a square. So where you have sun across from sun and moon across from moon in these specific time periods where the moon, basically it tracks its path from one point to another, creating this cross and then this rectangle. And that's where the city is lined up with. And this, they also talked about this other governor's palace. I believe it's Mexico. It could be Brazil. It was a little. I watched this last night, and I mentioned this. Nothing on the videos. I normally watch these around 7 after my daughter goes to bed, which is around 7, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and I have a small child. And the combination of the narrator's voice and the calm music, and it's putting me to sleep. So my brain gets a little fuzzy. But again, it's they keep most of the city is aligned with I think the summer and winter solstice. This one was off, and they finally figured out it's lined up with Venus, the constellation of Venus. So that's what it was lined up with, because it looked very funny. It's like completely off. So, and again, so it's connecting to these massive cities and how these people understood the constellations and the sun and the moon movements and were connecting these things. They do believe in this specific, the one in North America, that these women were sacrificed probably on this specific date where the moon is in this specific location. So it's very, very interesting that they were able to observe and notice this. And again, this was their world. This is how they understood it. They looked above and they looked below. So they talk about that and how they're connected. So, but in this one specifically, they're looking at the stars and how the movements of planets and the sun and the moon and how that affects everything around them. So that's it for this video. Great series, fantastic series. Sorry, this is probably a little bit shorter. They're really, really good. It's just my daughter's been not sleeping well, so I've been kind of tired when I've been watching these lately. So my brain is slightly fuzzy. So fantastic series. Again, I always love the fact that they focus on they listen to the native peoples, and they're also talking to experts who are archaeologists some of which are speaking Spanish, some of which have known and have a lot of passion for these areas and these people and respecting them. So, if you like what you see, be sure I have the 2 previous Caves to Cosmos and Nature to Nations. I've reviewed those as well. And then New World Rising is the next one. So that's coming up. Like and subscribe. What I have going on right now, I have stuff from Asian America, obviously Black History stuff. I have 2 years worth of this, a lot of that stuff. By the time you guys see this, this is obviously coming. You guys are seeing this in November of 2022. I'm filming this in April of 2022. I also have at least 2 years worth of travel videos. We're going to be getting, we have something from the Phoenix Zoo, which is our local zoo, as well as our local aquarium and their butterfly exhibit. So those videos are also available. And I'm going to be adding more stuff like that as time goes on. My daughter is still really little, so practically she turns, by the time you guys see this, she will be 3. So we'll be adding more educational games and kind of educational homeschooling stuff, because we're a secular homeschooling family. So we'll be adding that as time goes on. So hopefully by the time you see this, we'll have a little bit of that going on here, just a little bit, as well as hopefully more travel videos. Hoping. We're trying to get back to moving around and traveling, as well as more different areas to see in our local area. So that is it. Thank you.